inspire our thoughts, discussions, and ideas, and continue to remind us that all that we do here today, all that we accomplish, is for the pursuit of truth for the greater glory of you. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Okay, so once again, good morning class. Kumusta kayo today? Kumusta kayo? So probably this is our first meeting for our module 1, and we will be discussing the first part of our lesson, which is Science and the Universe, a brief tour. May I ask for a confirmation? May I ask for a confirmation if my sound is okay? Okay ba ang sound ko?
Yes po, sir.
Alright, because
Yes,
actually,
okay.
yes. Opo, okay yung sound ko, no? Okay naman. So, again, as what I have made mention, we will be focusing today on Science and the Universe, a brief tour. Okay. Now, as you can see in the slide, in the upper top right side of the screen, you can see there class code. Nakikita niyo yung class code, class? Yung 47329, nakikita nyo? Nakikita nyo, class? Class, nakikita? Okay. Now, I want you to go to your browser. Punta kayo sa browser nyo sa Google Chrome. Then, you type ClassPoint.app. Punta kayo sa browser. Go to browser or Google Chrome. Then you type ClassPoint.app. Ayan. Clear ba ang sound ko, class? Or napuputol daw? Sabi ni Anthony. Okay ba yung sound ko? Or I just don't know kung sa akin or because actually class we are struggling with the internet connection sa campus, lalo na ang dami ng estudyante kasi na perhaps nag-counteract yung yung gumagamit ng internet dito. I mean yung signal. Kaya medyo struggle talaga yung connection dito. Okay yung sound ko or kay Anthony lang talaga? What about the others? Okay ba yung sound ko? I mean, yeah, yung ko?
Ganun din po, sir.
Napuputol siya?
Yes po.
Ganun ba? Okay. So, perhaps I will try to... Sige, ganito na muna. You go to ClassPoint, then you type the class code 47329. And I want you to answer this one. Just a short confirmation if you have something in mind of what is an astronomy, or just in one word, how do you understand astronomy? Okay? Sige, punta kayo sa ClassPoint. Sa browser nyo or sa anumang gamit nyo ng browser, i-open nyo, then type nyo ClassPoint.app. Then, you'll be prompted or you will be asked to input a class code. And the class code will be 47329. Yan, sige po. So, meron na tayong 6 students, alright? Now, though we are actually 15, again, for those who have just joined na medyo na late or kaka-join lang, my instruction is, you go to your browser, then you you type in the sa search bar, ClassPoint.app, then i-click nyo yon, then you type the class code 47329. From time to time, class, in our discussion, we will be utilizing this type of tool, educational tool. This is actually one of the educational tool that perhaps you may adopt or you may be utilized in in crafting your learning plans, ano, as we discuss on your TTL2, ano? Okay. Alright, so nakikita nyo na yung class point, nakikita nyo yung slide. Now this time, you will be prompted or you will be asked with this. Ano, you are asked to at least to supply what's being asked in this slide, in the first slide that we have. Ano? Ayan. With still the question on for you, what is astronomy? Or just type at least one word which can be associated to that of astronomy. Ano para sa inyo ang astronomy? Kahit one word lang. Or just state there something that is or has a bearing or has a connection to astronomy. So we have already here an answer. We have celestial from Crispin. Okay. Yan. We have answers here. Meron na tayo. One word ha? One word. Accepted daw yung one word na compound word naman. Ano compound word siya? Kung okay lang naman yung camera nyo, please open. Ano? Paki-open nyo. Alright, so close ko na ang submission natin. I'll just say for review na lang. Let's view your responses. Alright, so we have here out of this world. So basically, our top answers would be the universe. So and the universe is the answer of the answer of Miss Amy and Christy Alcaraz and Abigail Inupia. So perhaps with this answer, we will be dealing with the first module that we'll be tackling this morning. We'll be talking about, or we are going to touch some of the salient features wherein as we go along with the discussion, it's you who will present some of the in-depth discussion or topics of astronomy. So you have heaven, dust, celestial body, the solar system, or the study of heavenly bodies. So these are some of the features or the details that you associated with astronomy. All right, so let's proceed with the outline of our presentation. Ano? Our presentation will run in this order, ano, or some of the major points that will be dealing in the subject. So at first, we will have this canyon system that's so large that on Earth, it would stretch from Los Angeles to Washington, D.C. So as projected in the slide, in this figure of the Mars mosaic, this image of Mars is centered on the Valles Marineris or the Mariner Valley, which is a complex of canyons, which is as long as the United States. Now, there are craters or in other evidence on Earth that tells us that the dinosaurs and many other creatures died because of the cosmic collision. So that is one of the evidence being presented to us as to what really happened to to the dinosaurs. That's made possible of the cosmic collision. And there is also the tiny moon. Its gravity is so weak that one good throw from its surface could put a baseball into orbit in a collapsed star that's so dense wherein it duplicates its interior that we would have to squeeze every human being on earth into a single raindrop. So presenting to us are just some of the facts that what is really behind the discovery of what are those things behind the discovery of the astronomy up to this date. Okay, because if we know that in biology, if we consider that the more diverse is that the marine ecosystem, it is same thing with the physical science, that there is really a diversity when we are talking about heavenly bodies or the celestial bodies that can be which can be discovered in our universe. All right, and we have also the exploding stars, whose violent end would wipe clean all of the life forms on the planet orbiting a neighboring star. So these things are actually visible or evident if we are going to look into some of the movies which are um, which is a portrayal of our universe. So ang dami na nagpapakita, pinoportray kung how diverse is the universe. A moment please, class.
Jason.
All right. So we are talking also the Cannibal Galaxy. So ano ba yung Cannibal Galaxy? We were rich on the topic Milky Way or the galaxy, the Milky Ways and the galaxies, which has already consumed a number of its smaller galaxy neighbors, and it's not yet finished finding new victims. We know very well that during your grade 11 and grade 9, we actually talked about these things, the evolution of the stars, what really happened is there really a life expectancy when we're talking about the stars? And a radio echo that is faint but unmistakable signal of the creation event for our universe. Now, if you could notice in figure 1.3, that in figure 1.3, the scalar force, we observed that this remains of a star was seen to explode in our skies and in 10 raised to the 54 ito, or yeah, and it was briefly bright enough to be visible during the daytime. So hindi natin ito makikita. And today, the remnant is called the Crab Nebula, and its central region is in here. So such exploding stars are crucial to the development of life in the universe. Why we consider these things as crucial? It is because, class, alam natin na it is really difficult to unravel the facts, what's really behind the discovery of our universe, what is really happening in the universe, because science or physical science, particularly on astronomy, we are limited to that of the capacity of our experts utilizing different instruments. Alam natin yun na even the US, the NASA, talagang they spend money for this. Sobrang ang mamahal ng malaking budget ang inuukol para dito just to really discover what is in the universe. Okay? So we will pay close attention in this. Excuse me. So these are some of the discoveries that what make astronomy an exciting field for scientists, and even siguro kayo, I just don't know if you feel the same way, na excited kayo to learn more about astronomy. Excited ba kayo to know more about astronomy, class? Ha? Excited?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
dapat
sir.
lang, dapat excited. Yes, dapat we have the we keep the fire burning na we really share and we intend to be excited with the things that we are going to discover in astronomy. So these are just we are going to explore much more than just the objects in our universe, but some of the latest discoveries about them. I just don't know if you were able to watch kagabi siguro dun sa Kuya Kim paano na presented actually or di ba tinanong ka sino nakapanood kagabi ng sige muna tayo ng 24 oras kasi medyo sobrang napaka relatable kagabi ang trivia ni Kuya Kim. Sino nakapanood sa inyo? Sino? Wala? Wala sa inyo nakapanood. Kasi actually kagabi, tinanong si Kuya Kim the difference between meteorites, and meteors. Tinanong siya kagabi. And observatory mechanisms of the University of the Philippines presented the facts kung kailan ang pinakauna na nagkaroon ng discovery or there is the meteorites na talagang tumama sa Pilipinas. Pinakita kagabi, hindi ko muna because that's part of the evaluation perhaps later. So kaya paminsan-minsan manood kayo because some of the facts are actually related. Tinanong siya kagabi. So paanong meteorites, meteoroid, and meteors. So talagang malalaman natin yan. What are those things? So in this course, we'll be paying close attention or equal attention to the process. Take note with the word process by which we have come to understand the realms beyond Earth and the tools used to increase that understanding. So malalaman natin, though I failed to assign instruments in the discovery of the universe, but anyway, I will just be the one to discuss that part once na nakarating tayo doon. Okay? And we gather information about the cosmos, the messages. Etong tandaan natin, class, that in astronomy or in physical science, it is a fact that we elucidated ideas or pinapakita natin, we just come up with an idea based from or based on the messages the universe sends our way. Ibig sabihin, kung ano yung pinadala sa atin, we were able to decode those messages in a form of discovery. Kaya nalalaman natin na, okay, this is really the miniature of what's really happening in the universe. All right? Now, because the stars are the fundamental building blocks, take note of that, we know very well, that's our mind framing, that's our conception already that the stars are really the fundamental building blocks of the universe. If we have the building blocks of matter, the building blocks of protein, still, our universe has its own building blocks because actually we cannot appreciate the beauty of the universe without the stars, right? Tama? Tama? At saka hindi mo ma-appreciate ang partner. Yes, tama. Yes, sino yun? Sige. Now, let's talk about the nature of astronomy. Pag-usapan natin ano ba talaga ang astronomy. So basically, astronomy is defined as the study of the objects that lie beyond our planet Earth and the processes by which these objects interact with one another. Now, if your MC Science 2 or your major course 2, which is Earth Science, you deal with the geologic processes, the endothermic and exothermic processes that's really happening within the Earth, the lithosphere, the hydrosphere, the atmosphere, and the layers of the Earth. You were able to discover those things. But in astronomy, sige, diretso tayo. Now, but in astronomy, we'll be talking more of those objects that the experts or the scientists were able to discover. Ano? And how does the interaction takes place with each other? Ano? Now, if we were able in the biosphere, ano, pag sinabi natin biosphere, what does that mean? Ano nga ang biosphere? The very salient concept when we are talking about biosphere. Pag sinabi natin biosphere, it is the sphere or, yeah, it talks about the earth. It's within the earth. Yes, that's true, Miss Ford. What else? When we're talking about the biosphere class, we just try to partition the word, ano? Kasi ganun lang naman sa science. We try to partition or we try to analyze, we try to synthesize details. Yes, that's correct, Miss Chris. Ano? When we're talking about biosphere, it's talking about the life. No? So in other words, biosphere is an area or it is a sphere within the earth where life exists. Ito yung layer na doon lang talaga mabubuhay ang any living organism that can exist. Ano? Nasa biosphere siya. Alright? Now, pinag-aaralan natin yan even in our ecology, in our environment, in BISAI or environmental science. We talk about their interaction. Same thing with the nature of astronomy. That there is really no of interaction among them, right? Now, it is considering that the history of the universe, we'll see again and again the cosmos that evolves around it. No? That it is also that it is attempt to organize that we learn into clear history of the universe. And from that instant of its birth, alam natin na the backbone of the discovery of the universe of the earth or the earth is that the Big Bang and up to the present moment. All right? So that is the reason why throughout this course, we will be emphasizing that science is a progress report. Take note of this word, ha? Science is a progress report. Why do we say so, this thing? No? Bakit nasabi natin na science is a progress report? That's correct, Mr. Gerald Montano, the sum of all the ecosystems. That's correct, Miss Chris Feb. We keep on, or we are still discovering. That's right. Because we try to, this tentative explanations to the existing facts, existing theories, laws that theories, I mean that we have. There is a tendency that we can discover these things. That is why we consider science as a progress report. And one that changes constantly as new techniques and instruments allow us to prove the universe more deeply. Kasi hindi natin alam. Baka by tomorrow we have this meteorites or meteors that will pass into the earth. And it might explain all the things of other cosmos or other heavenly bodies present in the universe. That is why it's still a progress. And we will see again and again that cosmos evolves and it changes in profound ways over long periods of time. All right? So, sa pagkakaalam natin, na pag sinabi pala natin, talking about the distance of the heavenly bodies in the universe, we talk about the distance, we refer to that as light years. So, why is that so? Pag sinabi pala natin that a certain star is 500 light years from the Earth, papunta sa kanyang location is that, pagkakaintindi pala natin that that star is already reporting us or sending us the message 500 years ago. Ganun pala yun. Alright? So, that's the reason why there's a continuous evolution. You know? So, same thing with in the aspect of biology, in your subject, that according to, yung mga lolo natin, Charles Darwin, kasi yun ang pinaniniwala natin in science, in biological standpoint, that there is really the continuous evolution, over a period of time, right? So let's talk about the nature of science. Now, the ultimate judge in science is always what nature itself reveals based on observations. Alam natin yun, that this empirical data or these observations that we utilize or we use with our senses through observations, we generate experiments, and we were able to model or to design models, and we were able to evaluate or to validate these models into testing. No? Kasi pag sinabi natin na validation and development, after your observation and experiments, we try to evaluate this instrument or this model that we were able to craft. And once we have this models already, we have to test if this will merit your observations. No? That is the reason why science is not merely a body of knowledge. Hindi lang siya it's not just a mere body of knowledge. Hindi lang siya basta, it's just a knowledge. But take note with this, it is a method. Remember this one. So we attempt to understand nature and how it behaves. Kasi yun naman talaga, the natural phenomenon really happening in our entire system, in a closed system or an open system, it is actually a method. We followed a series of steps. Kaya meron tayong tinatawag na scientific method. We try to disprove things. We want to observe things. We want to test. We want to validate our hypothesis. Okay? So this method actually, class, begins with many observations over a long period of time. Alam natin yan. And from that trend of observation, we try or scientists were able to model that particular phenomena that we want to understand. Anong ibig sabihin ng i-model natin? So there are different type of model. Ano? So for example, sinasabi that the Earth is as oblate spheroid, may nagsasabing flat Earth, may nagsasabing geoid. So there are so many observations as to the shape of the Earth, no? But scientists were able to make models out of it, and they try to disprove and they try to show to us that these models are actually an approximations of the nature. No? These are just an approximations of the nature or which are subject for further testing. Kaya kung mapapansin natin, the laureates, they model some discoveries. Then after that, these models were subjected in the scientific community for scrutiny. No? Kasi kinakailangan, it has to be tested. Tama ba yung ginawa niya? For example, during the discovery of Ptolemy, Tycho Brahe, Galileo Galilei, those models that they were able to craft are subjected for further testing that the current or that the modern astronomy were able to generate ideas that we are now consuming. Na ito na ngayon ang napapakinabangan natin. Kasi na-prove yun eh. Okay? For instance, in the discovery of Charles Darwin naman, ang dami na models na sinasabi niya na natural selection, evolution by means of natural selection. So ang daming nag-prove doon. There are so many tests being conducted, just like the type of Gregor Mendel in terms of the translocation process, di ba? Ang dami, all right? And remember that when they are first proposed, when these things are being proposed, new models or ideas are sometimes called hypotheses. So alam natin that hypotheses, these are tentative. Ano nga ang hypothesis natin, class? Ano nga ang hypothesis? Jesus Candidato o Aljero Mesa? Educated guess. Okay? That's really the widely acceptable educated guess. Marjobel Lopez guess or an educated guess, or it is a tentative explanation to your problem. Ano? So we try to at least supply a tentative explanation that we are going to test or to experiment or to look into possible explanations in our experiment as we go down into our method. So when our facts are first proposed, new models or ideas are sometimes called hypotheses. And this is the reason why. So if we were able to disprove our present hypothesis, we're going to generate new hypotheses out of it. And after that, still, we follow the next step of discovering new things, right? Kaya nga, sinabi kanina natin that since it is a progress report, science is also an observational one. Bakit sinabi natin observational? No? Bakit sinabi that astronomy is also sometimes being called as observational science? No? Do you think what is the reason behind kaya sinabing astronomy is an observational science? Because we often make our tests by observing many samples of the kind of object we want to study and noting carefully how different samples were. Just like, for example, paleontologists, archaeologists, they try to make observations out of the fossils, out of the details they discovered in a certain locality or a certain area based from what has been what had happened previously or in a recently or in since antiquity or billion years ago. Ano? So, and there are so many tests conducted with that. So meron tayong mga carbon dating and dating processes being conducted just to really look into the details of their observation. All right. So, and astronomy is also being referred to as historical science. Tinatawag din siya, it's not only observational science, it is also being referred to as historical science. So what we observe has already happened in the universe and we can do nothing to change it. For example, sa crime scene, ano? Di ba ang mga PIDE, I know, not PIDE, just like for example, ang NBI, hindi naman sila makakapag-generate ng kanilang tawag dito, final verdict perhaps or kanilang discovery out of it kung hindi muna nangyari ang isang krimen. Tama? Same thing with astronomy. Kaya tinatawag siyang historical science. Bakit? Kasi what we observe today are actually the phenomenon or the event happened in the past. No? Kaya siya tinawag na historical science. So, while this can make astronomy challenging, it also gives us the fascinating opportunities to really discover the secrets of the cosmic past. Kasi napaka-complex pag tinignan natin ang astronomy. Kasi we really don't have the easy access in discovering the astronomical objects, bodies existed in our universe, right? Sobrang hirap. Hindi basta-basta tayo nakakapunta doon. Way back 2006, it was disputed, right? Talagang nagkaroon ng dispute when we are going to revisit the landing of the scientists on the moon. Ano? So naging controversy pa yan that even up to this date, still it is a debate. Isang napakalaking debate pa rin kung talaga nagkaroon ng landing sa moon during that time, yung way back 2006. Okay, and we have also the so-called peer review. No? So this self-correcting aspect of science sets off the most human activities. So this is the reason why class, when scientists were able to discover new things, new facts, it has to be subjected for an extensive process review. At tinatawag natin yung peer review. Hindi lang ibig sabihin na right after we discover things out, I really wanted to push this thing. Gusto ko ito i-insist na these things are correct. These observations are true. These observations are valid. But you have to subject your research or your observation for a peer review. And this practice are actually happening on your part. Nangyayari ito during your senior high school, and I just don't know if you're done already with your research in your baccalaureate degree ngayon. Tapos na ba kayo sa research nyo? Di ba in research, we try to generate new body of knowledge. We try to contribute to a new set of knowledge. And in order for you to generate that knowledge, it has to be subjected for evaluation, for review. Kailangan nire-review yan ng panel of evaluators. Kasi nangyayari yon sa ating mga scientists. Alright? Now, it is actually a careful examination by other scientists in the same field. Kaya ang dami nagkikritik. Just like for example, on the discovery of Aristotle, sinabi niya na 2 klase lang ang nabubuhay sa mundo. plants and animals. Yun lang, wala nang iba. Alright? After doon, here comes another discovery. Ano? Dumating si Matthias Clade, dumating si Rodolph Virchow, dumating si Robert Hooke, na sinasabi nila it's not only the plants and animals. There are also different, ang dami na, dumating si West Baker, dumating si Carl von Linné, sinasabi nila they were able to present other living organisms or other classifications of kingdoms. Ano? Present nila yon na hindi lang plants and animals. Meron pa palang others. Meron pang archaeans, meron pang bacteria, and so on and so forth, and other classification of living organisms. All right. Now, what about the laws of nature? Ano? Alamin natin kung ano ba talaga ang laws of nature. So, over centuries, scientists have extracted various scientific laws. Ang dami. Ano? So, can you name a few? Sige nga, sabihan nyo nga ako ng laws. Laws of, kahit hindi na laws of nature, sa laws being generated or being elucidated by the scientists. Ano yung mga laws na alam natin sa science? Sige nga. Sabihan nyo nga ako. Kahit isang law lang. Law of gravity. Yes, Miss Correct. Laws of motion. That's one thing, ano? Law of inertia. Alam natin yun. Yung law of inertia, law of interaction, laws of acceleration, action-reaction. Yes. What else? You have also law of conservation of mass. These laws are actually finite. Laws of planetary motion, that's correct, Ms. Jeline. Laws of thermodynamics, the entropy, Gerald. Yeah, that's correct, Ms. Feb, the entropy. Okay, so you have also the laws of segregation, laws of independent assortment in your biology, in your genetics. Ano? All right. So over centuries, scientists were able to have this scientific laws, or in a sense, these are the rules of the game of the nature and how it plays, how our nature plays. So one remarkable discovery about nature, one that underlies everything, is that presented in our succeeding topics. Ano? So same laws apply everywhere in the universe. So wala na. So pag sinabi that the Earth is a closed system, the Earth is an open system, so we can do that. So just like, for example, in the law of conservation of mass, that the energy is not actually, hindi nawawala ang energy, but anong sabi? It is just being reduced into another form. Diba? Sinabi natin. So, ganun din sa trophic level natin in your ecology, diba? Sa food chain, hindi nawawala ang energy that is stored sa plant. Pag kinain niya ng animals, it's just being converted into another form of energy. Pag kinain ng yung animal na yon, just like for example, a chicken, is that kinain ulit siya ng isang omnivore omnivore muna. Pag kinain siya, the energy from the plant being as eaten by the chicken is just converted into another form. Right? So yun ang tinatawag natin, right? The laws of nature. Okay, so proceed tayo. Now, what about the numbers of astronomy? Pag-usapan natin ang numbers of astronomy. Kasi these things are very important. Talking about, ano ba ang pinag-uusapan sa astronomy when it talks about its numbers? So we have only two things that we have to remember when we are referring to numbers of astronomy. So these are scientific notation and the metric of internal system of units, o yung tinatawag natin na SI units. I know very well that alam niyo na yung scientific notation, kahit elementary pa kayo, you mastered this already, ano? So do you think what is the very purpose of integrating scientific notation even up to this course? Huh? Shortcut, that's the basic standpoint when we're talking about scientific notation up to this point. Shortcut, totoo yun. Kasi can you imagine, pag sinabi natin, halos 5 trillion light years. Diba sobrang haba? Right? So, this is the reason why, thank you, Ms. Rupor, that this system is very appealing because it eliminates the many zeros. It eliminates the many zeros kasi sobrang dami na ng zeros that can seem overwhelming to the reader. Sobrang haba. Aminin nyo, pag nakakakita kayo ng zero, kasi ako, I just don't know on your part. Sa akin talaga, pag nakakakita ako ng sobrang daming zero, I tried to partition that one. Units, thousands, millions, billions. Then, bago pa lang ako magbabasa. Kasi yun ang tinuro sa atin in our elementary years. We try to divide, tinatawag natin na place value muna tayo. First three, that's units. Next na pang-anim naman, that's thousands. Next, millions, billions, and trillions. All right. So, for example, if you will write 500, ayan, for example, this is 500, yeah, 500 billion ba ito? Wait lang class ha, saglit lang. I will try to erase. Okay, for example, this one. If we will write this in scientific notation, it will be expressed in ilan na ngayon? Ano nga ang tawag natin doon sa yung naka-superscript? Yes, that's superscript. Anong tawag natin doon? Just a recall, it's an exponent. Raise ata, hindi raise, I mean, hindi raise na, though tinatawag natin siya like 5 times 10 raised to the power. Actually, minsan ito, raised to the power or on the 10th. 8 on the 8 tenths times. Ganun ang tawag nila. Okay? So we call that as exponent. No? So that is an exponent. So alam na natin yun pag, kasi a whole number, alam natin that the imaginary decimal point is located at the end of the zeros. Right? Pag whole number, yan. And if we are going to move the decimal point to the right, meaning to say, that's positive. So meaning to say, positive yung maging exponent natin. But, if we move to the left, ibig sabihin magbabawas tayo. Alright? So, like in this case, take note class, the purpose of scientific notation is we really wanted to follow the significant figures. Diba? We have to follow that non-zero number, non-zeros number. Kaya, tinitingnan natin na, for example, we have this 500 million, nilalagay natin na between 5 and 0. Kung yan ay 54,000 or 54 million, we try to move our decimal places into or in between 5 and 4. Kasi doon tayo tinitingnan natin sa non-zeros. Naging decimal, doon natin minumove ang ating decimal points. Alright? So yung metric international system of units naman natin is that this actually a common one. International SI units natin. Kaya we have different SI units. Can you name a few mga SI units? Sige nga. Yung mga units of measures natin. Ano-ano yung mga units of measures natin? Sige nga. Class, can you name a few SI units? Or international system of units. Actually, meron tayong dalawa. Okay lang, kahit anong SI units ang ibibigay nyo. Kasi we have the Roman SI units and the Greek SI units. Ano-ano yung mga units na ginagamit natin? Ha? Hello, class. Are you still there? Length. Yeah, that's correct. That's correct, Anthony. Length. Sa length, anong ginagamit natin? Ha? Ginagamit natin ay? Ginagamit natin ay meter. Yes, correct. Meter. Or at times, nire-reduce natin into centimeter. Ayan. Kilometer. That's correct. Ayan, maura na yun siya. Kaya natunaan na meter, kilometer, second. When we are trying to figure time, gram. Yeah. Sa weight naman, grams. Ayan. So, sobrang dami. Mole, yes, that's correct. Now, when we are, but in numbers, in astronomy, a common unit astronomers use to describe distance. Kasi basically distance naman, joules for the energy, ano, ampere. So when we're going to describe distances in the universe, we use light year. Ano? So ginagamit natin ang light year, which is the distance light travels during 1 year. Take note ha, that light year is the distance light travels in 1 year. So ganun yon. So ano yung ibig sabihin nun? Excuse me. Sorry for that. What do you mean by that? That this is the used to describe light year and the distance light travel during 1 year. Anong ibig sabihin? Because actually class, we know very well that light always travels at the same speed. Ano? Because its speeds turn out to be the fastest possible speed in the universe. Wala nang iba. It's only the light. Ano? Siya, light is the only, the fastest, fastest possible speed in the universe. That's why it makes a good standard for keeping track of distances. Kaya ginagamit, light serves as the point of reference na tinatawag natin. So, baka ma-confuse kayo, ano, na pag sinabing light year, seems to apply that we are measuring time, but it's not. Take note ha, light year does not measuring time. It measures the distance. Distances in the universe. Take note ha, distances, not measuring time. Okay? So, so the question is, ang tanong ngayon, since we are, light is the point of reference and we are trying to look into the distances in the universe, it's not measuring the time. The question is, how many kilometers are there in a light year? Kasi sinabi natin that light travels at the same speed, and because it travels or light travels during 1 year, or light year is equal to the distance light travels during 1 year, the question is, how many kilometers are there in a light year? Yun ngayon ang tanong. How many kilometers are there in a light year? Huh? Excuse me, sorry. Ayan. Nagsilabasa na. 9.46 times 10 raised to the power of 12 kilometers. Tumpa ang sagot ni Anthony. So bakit, paano nangyari yon? No? So, light travels at the amazing pace of 3 times 10 raised to the power of 5 kilometers per second. Take note ha, this is actually the exact manifestation or exact calculation that 3 times, it's not 105 plus ha? Sorry. Canva kasi ang nagamit ko kaya hindi siya naka-raise. Take note ha, ulitin ko, that's 3 times 10 raised to the power of 5 kilometers per second. Take note ha, since 3 times 10 raised to the power of 5 kilometers is equivalent per second, which makes a light year of 9 times 46 times 10 raised to the power of 12. Paano nangyari yon? Paano nangyari? So, it might be a large unit that would reach the stars easily, but it's not. Ano? Kasi sobrang layo, class. Hindi ganun kadali. So, paano nangyari? Na that light travels 3 times 10 raised to the power of 5 in 1 second. So, to calculate that, madali lang naman. Kasi diba, there are 60, ang 60 diba, when we're going to reduce into scientific notation, that is 6 times 10 raised to the power of 1, or just 6 times 10 seconds in 1 minute. Then, 6 times 10 raised to the power of 1 minute in 1 hour, we're going to multiply. So 6 times 6, 36. So magandali lang naman. So that's 3,600. So pag nilagay natin sa scientific notation, that is 3.6 times 10 raised to the power of 3. So continue. Continue lang ang multiplication. Seconds to minute, minute to hours, then kilometers to hours. Then, since we have kilometers, yung kanina, 3 times 10 raised to the power of 5, we're going to compute that 1 kilometer or 3 times 6 times 10 raised to the power of 3 per hour or seconds per hour. Wait lang. Hello, class? Parang naghang ako. Class? Clear? Oh, okay. Sorry. Opo. Parang naghang kasi ako. Sorry. Alright. So, continue tayo. Continue ang multiplication, seconds, minutes, hours, and kilometers. Until such time na we multiply yung hour in a day, that's 24 times or 2.4 times 10, yung 1 hour in a day times yung 1 year. Yung 1 year natin is 365.24. So days in 1 year, that's the reason why we have 9.46 times 10 raised to the power of 12 kilometers per light year. So ganun siya kahaba. Can you imagine? 9.46 times 10 raised to the power of 12. Just in 1 year. Huh? Just in 1 year. That even the nearest star is 4.3 light years away, more than 40 trillion kilometers, which other stars visible to the unaided eye are 100 to 1,000 light years away. Sobrang haba na. Now, what's the consequences of light years? Of light travel time pala, I mean. Kasi there is a consequence out of it. Merong consequence kasi hindi natin ganun kaagad naiintindihan yon. Kasi sobrang hirap. May consequence pala ang light travel time. Wrong spelling ng travel ko. Sorry. So, information about the universe comes to us almost exclusively through various forms of light. And all such light travels at the speed of light. And that is 1 light year every year. So, ang usad ka tuig gali nato na panahon is that's equivalent to 1 light year. No? So, eto class tanda natin as what I have made mention previously in the introductory portion of our discussion that if a star is 100 light years away, ayan na, take note, the light we see from it tonight left that star 100 years ago. It is just now arriving in our neighborhood. Ibig sabihin, ganun na pala siya. The discovery or the facts that we can discover out from that star is actually 100 years ago. So kung gaano siya kalayo pala or the distance of a certain star, that left us the idea that is equivalent to the years that the stars have passed. It is just now arriving our neighborhood or our respective locations. Nakuha, class? Nakuha? Okay. So, ganun. So, pag sinabi pala natin na if the astronomers were able to elucidate idea that a certain star with the use of the Hubble space, eto, nakikita nyo on the screen, that's actually the Hubble Space Telescope. If you were able to visit nasa site, or actually nabalita pa lang, that Hubble Space Telescope, meron naman tayong pinalipad, James Webb Space Station. Ang James Webb Space Station, nakapagpalipad pa lang ng bagong another Hubble Space Telescope. So that's one thing, astronomical instrument in space that will actually help us look into discoveries, what's really happening in our universe. All right? So let's have a tour of the universe. So we can now take a brief introductory tour of the universe as astronomers understand it today to get acquainted with the types of the objects. Diba ang ganda ng Earth? Kung titingnan natin. On this figure 1.6, humanity's home base. This is actually our home base, right? Home base natin ito. This image shows the Western Hemisphere as viewed from space, 34,400 kilometers. Na-imagine nyo? 34,400 kilometers. Pero we can actually look into the details of Western Hemisphere, its geographical location, or that is equivalent to about 22 miles above Earth. So data about land surface from one satellite was combined with another satellite data about the clouds to create the image. So tulong-tulong din actually. Can you imagine how complex our satellite is just to generate this image? No? So a space traveler entering our planetary system would easily distinguish Earth from the other planets in our solar system by the large amount of liquid water that covers some 2/3 of its crust. Kasi mula pa noon, even we try to look into the geologic time scale, nagmula naman tayo sa Pangaea, the huge bodies of water. Can you still recall yung unang tawag natin dun sa bodies of water, yung sobrang laki? Pagbalikan natin yung geologic time scale natin, ano nga ang tawag natin dito sa sobrang laki na water? Ito, this one, before, nung nasa Pangaea pa tayo, dito, anong tawag natin dito nga? Class, natatandaan nyo pa? Starts with letter P. Huge bodies of water. Yung sobrang lawak ng tubig. Pagbalikan natin ang era or the epoch, the period of time of the Earth. Anong tawag natin doon? Uy, that's significant term. Dapat, ayan, that's correct, Miss Maria Crisel Maglente. Tandaan nyo. Tandaan nyo, class, yung mga significant term. Kasi actually, lumalabas siya sa left, yung mga ganyan. Yes, that's pantalasa. Ano? That's pantalasa. Yun ang tawag natin before. If I try to revisit, tandaan nyo na, that's pantalasa. Okay? Hindi pampalasa ha, hindi pampalasa. Pantalasa. Ayan. As presented to us by Anthony and Maria Crisel. So pantalasa ang tawag natin doon ha. Alright. So our nearest astronomical neighbor dito sa next slide natin is Earth's satellite. Take note ha. The Earth's natural satellite is being referred to as the moon. Nakikita niyo dyan sa slide, class. That is actually the scaling system or the moon's distance. The Earth and the moon drawn on a scale on the same diagram. That's actually the scale. Scalable na siya. Pinapakita sa atin the distance of the Earth. Ito siya. Papunta sa kanyang, take note ha, the natural satellite which is the moon. Okay. So the moon's distance from Earth is about 30 times Earth's diameter. Can you imagine? It's just diameter. No? Can you imagine that 30 times of the Earth's diameter kung gaano siya kalayo sa isa't isa? So approximately 384 kilometers. And it takes about a month for the moon to revolve around Earth. And the moon's diameter is 3,476 kilometers. Can you imagine that? About 1/4 of the size of the Earth. Okay. So Earth is only one of the 8 planets that revolve around the sun. So alam natin, I just don't know if you could recall some of the discovery on the planet, not only the planetary motion by John Kepler, but on the things, the existence, the theories, the facts that it is actually the Earth. Sinabi ni Ptolemy, ano? Kilala niyo si Ptolemy? Kilala niyo, class? That according to Ptolemy, sinabi niya that the Earth is the center of the universe, right? Then here comes Tycho Brahe. Sinabi niya na, yeah, it's geocentrism. Sinabi ulit, after ni Ptolemy, sinabi ni Tycho Brahe, sinabi niya na, no, it's not only the Earth, but same with the celestial bodies present or other bodies, talagang siya din ang center of the universe, including the sun. So medyo naging complex ang kay Tycho Brahe. Here comes now the discovery of telescope, Galileo Galilei, the discovery now of new ideas. Before kasi heliocentrism ha, heliocentrism, Miss Feb, yeah, geocentrism na. Naging geocentrism. I mean heliocentrism by the way, sorry. That the sun is the center of the universe. And all celestial bodies revolves around it. No? Okay. So So a planet, these planets along with their moons and swarms of smaller bodies, yan, yung mga nakikita natin, smaller bodies, the Haumea, Makemake, the Eris, dwarf planets, and other dwarf planets make up the solar system. Yun na, these celestial bodies, including the Earth solar system, the Ceres, the natural satellite of the Jupiter or Saturn, the Uranus, the Neptune, the Pluto, the Haumea, and the rest. That makes up our solar system. And a planet is defined as a body of significant size that orbits a star and does not produce its own light. Take note, ha? Take note that they do not produce their own light. But if a large body consistently produces its own light, it is then called a star. Okay? Okay. So eto, in this figure 1.8, that's our solar family. So you have the sun, the planets, and some dwarf planets shown with their sizes drawn to scale. This is actually the scale, ano? Ang pinaka-scale niya na talaga. The orbits of the planets are much more widely separated than shown in this drawing. So notice that the Earth, compared to the giant planets, makikita niyo sobrang liit, no? And this is actually the scale na. Napakaliit na ng Earth. Okay. Eto class, tandaan natin na that the sun is our local star. Take note ha. The sun is our local star. Wait lang class. I-plug in ko lang ang laptop ko na. Okay. So the sun is our local star and all other stars are also enormous balls of glowing gas that generate vast amounts of energy but nuclear reactions deep within. Just like for example, di ba meron tinatawag tayo ang terrestrial planets and the Jovian planets. And Jovian planets are divided into two. Ano ang tawag natin dun sa Jovian planets natin? Kasi nahati siya sa dalawa. No? So we have, pag sinabi natin terrestrial, mainly it composed of ano? Anong meron siya? Since it's a terrestrial, composed of basically soil, rocks, nickel, iron, yan. Basaltic rocks, that's correct, Antoniano, rocks, and Jovian planets. Actually, class, ako ang acronym ko dyan, pag tinanong ako, can you name the terrestrial planets? Ang acronym ko dyan, class, based on the location of the Earth towards the Sun. MVEM. Ganun lang ang acronym ko doon. MVEM. That's Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. No? So madali siya matandaan. With respect to the location of the Earth. Ano? That's terrestrial planets. MVEM. Pag tinanong ka naman, Jovian planets, that's J-Sun. Ano? J-Sun. Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. But if we're going to divide that into two, kasi meron tayong tinatawag na two gas giants and two ice giants. No? So you have Jupiter and Saturn as the gas giants and Uranus and Neptune as ice giants. Alright? So pakatandaan nyo yan. Okay, so next slide tayo. So all the stars visible to an unaided eye are part of a single collection. Single collection of stars we called the Milky Way galaxy. Can you imagine, class? Later, meron pa naman tayong time, meron ako ipapakita sa inyo bakit ganito, that we are actually living within, within the Milky Way galaxy or simply the galaxy. Remember ha, when we are referring to Milky Way, we capitalize the word galaxy. When we're talking about galaxies of stars, we use lowercase galaxy. Again, ulitin ko ha. Pag tinutukoy natin ang ganito, this is actually the Milky Way galaxy, or we can write just the uppercase word galaxy. But when we are referring to the Milky Way, I mean talking about other galaxies of stars, meaning to say pertaining to a particular hundreds of or just minutes of stars, then we use lowercase galaxy. Are you getting my point? So meaning to say pala class, within a sphere of 10 light years in radius, take note na radius alone, it's radius alone, centered on the sun, we find roughly 10 stars. And within a sphere of 100 light years in radius, there are roughly 10,000 stars. Or 10 to the fourth, ito 10 to the fourth. Ibig sabihin pala, just like the sun, considering this our local satellite, it is composed of many stars pala. Ano? Ay, sorry. Okay, just like for this one. Ay, sorry dito. In this figure, this spiral galaxy, this is actually the spiral galaxy, ano? That this galaxy is of billions of stars, called by its catalog. Kasi ito yung ginagawa ng NASA. They put its catalog or nilalagyan nila ng identification for them to better or to easily look into either the location, the distribution of the stars, or the distribution of Milky Way galaxies present in that catalog. Kaya itong nakikita nyo, these things are actually taken nila ito ng NASA. This NGC 10-0, NGC 1073. This is itong spiral galaxy na to. It is thought to be similar to our own Milky Way galaxy. Meaning to say pala class, that's the wonders of the universe na sinasabi nila na since this is just similar to our Milky Way galaxy, wherein the Earth or our solar system is located, there are still possibilities na yung tinatawag natin na exoplanets. Di ba? At sinasabi natin na there are solar system or there are systems beyond our solar system. Ano? Meron pang system of other planets and other celestial bodies beyond the solar system na meron tayo. Di ba? Kasi alam natin na pag sinabi natin solar system that is composed of the 8 planets, the dwarf planets, and the natural satellite na meron ang bawat planets. Okay? So those are exoplanets. Alright, let's proceed. In this figure, yung Milky Way galaxy, considering not only considering, we are actually living or we are actually inside the Milky Way galaxy. Yes, in this picture, this one. Yeah, this one, this picture. Because we are living or we are inside the Milky Way galaxy, we actually see it just in cross-section lang across the sky like a great Milky Way white avenue the stars with dark drifts of dust in it. Kung titingnan natin, parang it's just, parang siyang usok lang. Sobrang usok and there are, bagan ikot din sila kiti-kiti na baga, But this is actually the Milky Way galaxy kung saan tayo kung saan ang solar system is located. Alright? So in this figure naman, 1.1, the star cluster, eto, di ba papansin para siyang pearl, collection of pearls siya, na nasa malayo lang, na pag nilapitan natin, we can actually look into the details of the pearls. But it's not. These are stars, no? Cluster of stars or star cluster. This large cluster is also is known by its catalog number. Eto, ang catalog number nito is M9 by the NASA. So it contains some 250,000 stars that is seen clearly from space using the Hubble Space Telescope. No? So later on, I will be sharing in our Google Classroom the daily news, para siyang daily concept discovered or pictured by the Hubble Space Telescope. Baka you wanted to look into the everyday astronomy in a day. Parang ganun siya. So merong news or merong events na araw-araw pinapost ni NASA on that. Merong page, website. I will be sharing that website to our Google Classroom for you to at least look into some of the discovery, daily captured images by the Hubble Space Telescope. Right? So I guess I have come to my last slide. I have reached the end of my slide class. You have any question? Perhaps we can have a break at least 5 minutes before we proceed with our astronomy quiz time. So still we will be utilizing the ClassPoint, So toilet break muna tayo class. Mag-toilet break lang ako. And we'll be back. Then after that, we'll have the astronomy quiz time. All right? Class, are you still there? Class?
Yes, sir.
Alright, so toilet break muna ako,
Yes,
then
sir.
pagbalik natin, so, you may try to review muna. Pwede muna siguro kayo mag-review or look into some of the important details. Try to recall. Ano? Alright, sige. Toilet break lang ako. Alright, class? Ready na? This is a competition game, ha? Class? Sige, you can open your camera, please. Sige, gusto ko i-open nyo talaga yung camera nyo. Class? Class, naririnig na ako? Class?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ay, sorry. So far we have 14 students in the class
Yes,
point.
sir.
Sige. I want everyone to join now sa class point since this is a competition game. Yung top 3 natin may prize. So we have 14 students sa class point natin. So these are the students who joined in the class point. Again, you go to classpoint.app. Now, using your browser, you go to classpoint.app. Then you type in, or you will be asked to input class code. So the class code will be 47329. Ayan. So nandito pa lang sa class point si Christy Alcaraz, Marjubel, Joshua, Divine Grace, Abigail Inupia, Jesus Candidato, Kim, Aimee, Crispet, Anthony, Anna Vec, Christy Gerald, Maria Crizel, and Abigail. We have 15, but in the Zoom, we are 23 actually. Excluded yung dalawa kong account, so 21. So I am expecting a 21 participants sa ClassPoint. Ayan, ito class, classpoint.app. Nakikita class sa screen. Class 16 participants who join. Sige, may prize kay Steph. Sige, top 3. Okay, sige na, you join the ClassPoint bago tayo magsimula. Ayan, 18. We are now 18 in the ClassPoint. 18. Kulang pa. Sige na. 19. Again, top 3 natin. May prize kay Steph. Top 3. Sige na, you open your camera. Yan, you open your camera please. Si Gerard lang ang nakikita ko, si anak Annabeth. Error po siya, sir. Bakit error, Miss Rona? Punta ka Miss Daniza, Miss Rona, punta kayo sa, ano bang gamit nyo? Google Chrome. Then i-type nyo doon, classpoint.app. Then you will be asked to input your name and the class code will be 47329 as projected in the slide. Sige, hintayin natin yung classmates nyo, class. Okay na? So tanong ko muna, ano yung nakikita nyo sa ClassPoint, sa slide? Pag naka-join na kayo class, huwag na kayong pumunta sa Zoom, pero huwag kayong mag-disconnect sa Zoom. Doon na lang muna kayo sa ClassPoint kasi makikita nyo naman yung slide. Mag-a-appear doon. Sige nga, tanong ko, ano yung nakikita nyo sa ClassPoint? Naka-join ka na, Miss Daniza? And Miss Roname, were you able to join the ClassPoint now?
Astronomy quiz.
Yes, that's correct. Astronomy quiz. Ayan, so meron na tayong 22. So I guess isa lang ang hindi nakapag-join. So mag-start na tayo, okay? So are you now ready? Please open your mic, please. Miss Rona, you go to ano ba ang gamit mo? Google Chrome? Punta ka sa Google Chrome, tapos i-type mo ang classpoint.app. Saglit lang. Hello, class. Okay na? Well, start. Okay, so lahat nandito na. 23. Very good. So we're going to start. Are you now ready, class? Please open your... Pabilisan ito, class. This is actually pabilisan. So I have 23 students in ClassPoint. All right, sige. Are you now ready? Excited ba? Okay, number 1.
Yes, sir.
All right, number 1 natin. Number 1, hindi ko pa, once I click multiple choice, saka pa lang kayo makapag-start dyan, hindi pa kayo makapagsagot. Okay, number 1, how many planets, basic ano, how many planets do we have in our solar system? A, 6, B, 7, C, 8, D, 9. Ayan, you start. Doon pa rin kayo sa ClassPoint.
Wala po.
I'm sorry.
Sa ClassPoint kayo, sa ClassPoint.
Yes, sir.
Sa ClassPoint. Ayan, meron ng sagot. 30 seconds only. 15, 16 pa lang nakapagsagot. Sige, we'll extend to 1 minute. 16. We have 20 responses. 21. May dalawa pang hindi nakasagot. Habol na. Excuse me. May isang hindi nakasagot. Alright, close submission na ako. Okay. So what's the correct answer? The correct answer is? Anong correct answer, class? The correct answer is letter C. Letter C.
C.
Yes. Tingnan natin ang leaderboard. Kung sino. Nauna. So nauna si Joshua. Pangalawa si Marvel. Pangtatlo si Ivy. Ayan, sige. Proceed tayo. Okay, next question. How many natural satellites does the Earth have? Nasa ClassPoint na ba? How many? A, 1, B, 2, 3. I mean C, 3, D, 4. Okay, start. Excuse me. Ayan, meron na agad sagot. Sige, sagot. You open your microphone. Just enjoy the game. Ayan, meron na tayong 18 responses. Two responses. May isa lang yung nakakasagot. Ayan, may naghabol na. Okay. So, close submission tayo. Okay, so, what's the correct answer?
D.
The answer is? Anong sagot? Hello, class. How many natural satellites does the Earth have? Ilan?
One.
One?
Sure.
Yes, at yun ay ang?
One.
That is?
Earth.
Yung moon. Very good. Moon. The answer is letter A. So, 17 ang correct. Tingnan natin sino na ang leaderboard. Sino na ang patas? Ayan, ang una na si John Carl. Pangalawa si Joshua. Pangtatlo si Anthony Dunggol. Ayan, habol yung iba, habol. Next question. Is Earth considered an astronomical body? A, yes. B, maybe. C, no. D, no answer. Start. ClassPoint. Ayan, sino na kaya ang susunod na mataas na nasa leaderboard? May naririnig kayong music?
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
Uy, may music. Ayan, sige. So, meron na tayong 20 sagot. There are 20 responses as of now. Meron pa tayong tatlo. Ayan. 15 seconds left.
Astronomy.
Pabilisan ito, class, for you to earn more points. Kaya doon sa leaderboard natin, paiba-iba yung nasa taas. Kasi pabilisan siya, yung mabilis sumagot. Ayan, sobra na tayo 1 minute. Close submission. The correct answer is letter? What's the correct answer?
A.
Yes. Yes. The correct answer
Letter A.
is letter A. So, tama lahat, ha? Okay, tingnan natin ang leaderboard. Sino nang nangunguna? So, nangunguna si Joshua, pangalawa si Chris Pep, pangtatlo si Giancarlo. Nakikita niya sa Zoom? Anyway, sige.
Dili, sir.
Sige lang, dyan na kayo sa ClassPoint.
Oh, paano na?
So, nangunguna na si Joshua with 2,932 points, Chris Pep with 2,909 points, Giancarlo 2,842 points. Next question tayo, habol yung iba. Question number 4. Ay, sorry.
Convert to money.
Number 4, a ball of ice and dust with a long glowing tail is called what? A, asteroid. B, a comet. C, a blue dwarf. D, a meteor. Start. ClassPoint.
Walang pilihan. Ano?
Ara na, okay na siya.
Nagbuang na ako. Ano na ito? Ano na ito?
Paniguro, may prize pati. May pang-ano na ka mo, may prize pa.
Wala.
Ko na.
Nalisang ako.
Convert ng points to money.
No, may letter A, dalawa, letter B, 11.
Pagkadali, dali.
Nara.
Stress ako na.
30.
Oh. 9, 21. So meron pang dalawang hindi nakakasagot. Last 15 seconds. 10 seconds left. Sagot na, habol na, habol na. 3, 2, 1. Close submission. The correct answer is? What's the correct answer?
B.
Comet. Letter
E?
B. Tama ba? Letter B. It's comet. Letter B.
Tama. Ako lang.
Ito na letters na pindot ko.
Okay, tingnan natin ang leaderboard. So, nangunguna pa rin si Joshua. Pangalawa si Chris Feb.
Ay, number 3.
Pangatlo na si John
Nagapalit mo
Carl.
na.
Makakahabol pa si Divine Grace, Gerald Montano, then
Ang
Anthony
prize.
Dulcon. Alright, next question. What is the name of the galaxy we live in? Ayan. What's the name of the galaxy we live in? A, the Andromeda. B, the Milky Way. C, the Fishnet. D, the Zarathustra. Start, ClassPoint. Okay, start answering. Open na.
Wait,
Zero na.
Andromeda card.
Sige lang, you open your microphone. No problem at that. Because I want you to enjoy the
Pero
game.
feeling ko C.
Feeling
Feeling ko C kay puro kang isda.
Ano, sa high blood, ang labas sila sa ato yung takulba.
Feeling
nalilisang
ko
ako.
fishnet. Kaya kamukha niya.
Ay, baka ano?
So far, we have
Kami,
20
ang
responses. Sige na, you open your microphone. No problem. Maski magkaran ka mo da. Alright, last 7 seconds.
Done.
Nalilisang ako, sir. Kay dugay-dugay.
Close submission. So, what's the correct answer?
B.
The correct answer is?
C.
Milky Way.
C.
Wait lang. Answer is the Milky Way. Hindi ko na sure. So, tingnan natin ang, that's correct, letter B. Tingnan natin ang leaderboard. So, ganun pa rin. Walang pagbabago ang ating ranking. Alright, next item, number 6. Siguro last, meron pang isa. Which of these 4 planets is not a terrestrial planet? A, Venus. B, Mars. C, Earth. D, Saturn. Start. Oh, tulin-tulin. Grabe.
Mali ako. Mali, pindot ko.
Ano lang sa pagpindot sa letter C?
Music. Sir?
Ha?
May music galit.
Yes, may music yan.
May sunggal ako.
Ayan, sige.
Saan ang prize?
Nalasang ang bright. Last 10 seconds. 10 seconds.
Feeling ko ni
4, 3, 2, 1. Close submission. What's the correct answer? The correct answer is letter D. Tingnan natin ang leaderboard. Ayan, nangunguna na si Chris Februar, pangalawa si John Carl, pang-tatlo si Anthony Dunggon.
Oh my God. I go.
Pumalit na. Nag-change na ang ating leaderboard. Next tayo. Next, number 7.
Wala, na-ex ko na. Oh my God.
Number 7. A light year is a measure of what? A, brightness. B, distance. C, light. D, time. 1, 2, 3. Start. Yes.
Oh my God.
Bakit?
Reloading.
We have 19 responses.
From the universe.
19 responses. Meron pang apat. Hindi nakasagot. Habol na habol.
Bokol no.
3 na lang. 3,
Matangos na lang.
Ni-stress
Matangos
ako.
na lang ako.
Mission of the universe.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Close submission na tayo. The correct answer is?
Distance.
B.
The correct answer is distance. Tingnan natin ang leaderboard. Parang last item ko na yata ito. Are you excited kung sino nang nasa leaderboard?
Eliminated siya.
Babalik
No.
babalik.
Ha? Are you
Dapat ang top
excited?
6, sir.
Let's check.
Really la top 3.
Hindi lang ang kaya ni Sir.
Oh my God.
Wala ako
Ayun.
pabindot na dapat ako pwesto.
Na-outrank. We have first, Chris Februtor. Second, Anthony Dunggon. Third, Abigail Campo. Fourth, Joshua. Fifth, Jesus Candidato. And sixth, si Giancarlo.
Nawala ka sa
Bokol na.
Gerald.
Top 5 ito.
Ligwa. Sige lang, hindi man Joam, right?
5,000 day. Sayang sa 5,000.
But, okay, so I guess that ends our game. Ano? Doon nagtatapos ng ating game. So, ang winner natin,
Na mali pa ko sa dito ni sulod jump.
sino na nakasunod na nawara?
Last question na naman.
Okay, so ang leaderboard results natin, we have Chris Februtor with 5,873 points, Anthony Dunggon 5,492 points, and Abigail Campo 5,373 points. And meron tayong runners-up.
Sir, pakita sa yan overall.
Ang overall,
Sir, pakita ang overall, sir.
na-save ko na. Saglit lang. Tingnan ko.
Yes, sir. Nakakadikit.
Ay, wait lang.
Nawala man ako.
Diba ka naman? Sakit para ba?
Paano mag-expect?
Hindi ka
Child.
mag-expect. Pero ako Kasi ko layo.
Ay, hindi ko na siya maano. Hindi, wait lang. Later, pag naka-offline ako, I will share to you the overall result. Ano?
Yes, sir.
So eto na. So, later na lang, mag-chat na lang ako sa, natin, sa group chat. Okay, so, that ends our discussion for today for MC Science 5 for astronomy. Do you have any concern? So probably, or basically next week,
No,
our
sir.
topic will be delivered
No,
by
sir.
the assigned. Stop share lang. Mag-stop share lang ako. Will be delivered by the assigned group. No? So sino ang naka-assign natin? Next week, I will just check.
Me po, sir.
Sino?
Abigail, Jaime Gerald.
Okay, so si Abigail. Oh, nasa na? Wait lang ha. I will just... So Abigail Campo, Amy Malinaw, and Gerald Montano, right?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
May hindi pa ako nabigyan ng assignment.
Christy yata yun, di ba? Christy?
Sino pang wala? Parang meron eh. Yung
Bagan si Algero.
Si Christy.
Sige na, you may now open your camera.
Algero.
Oh, si Algero.
Ha?
Sir, igo pang other subject?
Okay. Saglit lang, i-open ko lang. I will just try. Mesa, sir. Mesa, Algero Mesa. Wait lang ha, Mr. Mesa. Mesa, dito ka na lang kay I am in module 3, orbits in gravity. Alhero Mesa, ako ha. Alhero, nakuha mo?
Tung.
Mr. Mesa. Hello? Module 3 ka na lang, module 3. Orbits and gravity. Sino pa ang hindi ko nabigyan ng assignment? Lahat meron na? Lahat meron na ba? Okay, so kung wala na, okay, ganito, kasi magpi-10:30 na, meron na lang tayong 10 minutes. So I just don't know if you have a class this afternoon. May klase kayo this afternoon? In your subject for
No,
this
sir.
afternoon? Kasi ganito class, hindi pala natin kakayanin within 3 hours na isingit yung dalawang subject, your TTL2. So, meaning to say, starting next week, simula next week, we will follow the schedule released by the Office of the Admission Registration Office. Meaning to say, mag-meet tayo by Wednesday morning, same time, for your TTL2. Then pag pag Thursday, mag-meet tayo for your MC Science 5 for Astronomy. Naku ha?
Yes po.
Naku ha? Again, ulitin ko, starting next week, mag-meet na tayo Wednesday for your TTL2 from 8:30 to 10:30 or mas early, mas maganda. Then, pag that's Wednesday, Webes. Miyerkules, then pag Webes for your astronomy. No? So starting next week.
Yes, sir.
So pakisabi na lang kan Alhero, nagunga kasi siya sa sa chat box. Na module 3 siya, kasama niya si Ana V at si Anthony. Okay. So, prepare na lang next week, observing the sky, the birth of astronomy, yung first presenter natin, and module 3. If possible, dalawa tayo next week. Okay po? Hello? By the way, were you able to access the module? I mean, yung learning materials natin? Na-open nyo na siya? Kasi talagang mabigat siya. Hindi siya mabigat siya. That's the reason why it requires strong connectivity.
Ma-download.
Yeah, hindi siya ma-download. Kaya, shinare ko ulit. I shared the link where you can access the learning material online, kung saan nyo siya ma-access. Kung hindi nyo ma-open yung pinaka-PDF, kasi talaga, nare-require siya ng malakas na internet connection para ma-download nyo siya or ma-open nyo siya doon sa Google Classroom. So, you have the option to open the learning material for you to view other subcomponents or other subtopics assigned to your module, assigned modules per members of the group. Okay po? May concern? So, would it be okay if we will meet this afternoon? Siguro 1 to 4 or 2 to 4 for your TTL2. Are you okay with that? Now we shall meet this afternoon for your TTL2. Class? Walang response. Ayaw. Ha? Kasi kung ngayon, bombarded na kayo masyado, mag-rest naman tayo kasi yung iba wala pa kakarigo. Ano, okay lang sa inyo or hindi? Sige na, sabihin nyo lang kung hindi okay this afternoon, okay lang naman. We'll have it next week, Wednesday. Class, okay lang? Walang response. Walang response talaga. Ayaw nila. Ganito na lang. Kung gusto nyo this afternoon, mag-meet tayo for TTL2. Kindly react using heart. Heart ha. Pag hindi kayo favor na mag-meet tayo this afternoon, thumbs up na lang. Sige. Para mabilang ko. Kung mag-meet tayo this afternoon for your TTL2, kasi hindi pala siya kaya within one session. Heart react pag mag-meet tayo this afternoon, and thumbs up react naman for those who can't attend this afternoon. Sige nga.